Did you know? In 2023, around 1 in 10 workers feel lonely at work, often or always, and nearly half experience loneliness at work some of the time. So today I wanted to talk about this report published in 2023 by the Campaign to End Loneliness. With the recent changes to people's working patterns, 19% of workers now work from home and 24% are hybrid working. But this doesn't seem to have increased the rates of loneliness. Changes in working location have actually improved relationships for many people, and there is little evidence to suggest that more contact with colleagues leads to less loneliness at work, as loneliness is subjective and distinct from isolation. So, what does that mean? It seems that the issue isn't whether you work from home or you work from the office. It's actually about the relationships you have with colleagues at work. A lot of the time, the kind of interactions we might have in the office, you greet each other, ask how you're doing, say good thanks, because that's what we've learned the social norm is. And a lot of the time it doesn't really go beyond that. The report also shows the various other impacts of loneliness. For example, loneliness can increase the risk of early mortality by 26%. It puts people at a greater risk of poor mental health, including depression. Research estimates that 60% of people experiencing chronic loneliness experience mental distress, compared to 15% of people who are not chronically lonely. Furthermore, 62% of lonely young people say that feeling lonely makes them lose confidence in themselves. Research shows that loneliness is associated with elevated blood pressure and acute stress responses. Loneliness is associated with poor sleep quality in young adults and sleep inadequacy and dissatisfaction in the general population. It can also impact our engagement with education and employment. Loneliness in early adolescence is associated with lower educational attainment. 48% of lonely young people say that feeling lonely makes them less likely to want to progress at work. Higher loneliness levels among employees are associated with poorer work performance. A recent study estimates the cost of severe loneliness at around £9,900 per person per year, due to its combined impact on wellbeing, health, and work productivity. It has been estimated that loneliness costs UK employers £2.5 billion per year due to its impact on employee sickness, caring activity, productivity, and voluntary staff turnover. Hello, my name is Magda. I'm an artist based in Bristol and I have a small business called Patent Frog. So in my spare time I do illustration, painting, I've designed a colouring book, and then during the summer last year I decided to have a go at running my own workshops. So the first workshop I did was just a basic paint and paint, which was lovely. Everyone enjoyed it, but I felt like there was something missing because people weren't really talking to each other. They just sat down, got their own canvas, and that was it for the rest of the 2 hours. So then I thought about how can we make these workshops more interactive, and I came up with the idea of a painting party. So a painting party is basically roughly a 2-hour workshop where we play classic party games such as Pass the Parcel, musical chairs or Pictionary, but they have elements of painting intertwined into that. The most important principle of a painting party is about having fun in the moment and connecting with others. So to fit with the party theme, we paint on paper plates. They're very easily recycled, and it means that you make quite a few of these paintings during the night, and then you can choose whether you want to take them or not, and there's no pressure to create your most skillful work of art. It's just about enjoying the process, and it's about making connections with others. So, for example, one of the games that I would quite often start with is Two Truths and One Lie. You might remember it from pre-drinks at uni, but in this case it's actually just a really good icebreaker. So what you would do is get into pairs or little groups, and then each one of you would say two things that are true about yourself and then one thing that is a lie, and the person that you're working with would then have to guess what is your lie and paint that on a plate. You'd have about 5 minutes roughly until everyone is done, and then you'd talk in your groups, say what your facts were, and then you would see what has been painted, and tell the rest of the group if that was a correct guess or not. After that, we would move on to another game. I think the most popular one so far has been musical plates. So what we would do is make sure that we are sat in a circle. Everyone starts with a blank paper plate, and then the music begins, and you just paint absolutely anything, whatever you feel like in the moment. And when the music stops, you pass it to the people next to you, and then you take a plate from a person on the other side. Music starts again, everyone carries on painting, and that carries on until each of the plates has done a complete round of the circle. So that means that everyone has contributed to every single painting, and people have really enjoyed that, and there's been some really interesting works of art created that way as well. And it's probably the most connected game, because literally everyone contributes an equal amount. Another game that's quite good for the group spirit is Pass the Parcel. Obviously everyone knows how to play that, everyone has enjoyed it as a child. It's quite high energy, and between every layer of paper there is a word which will have the name of an animal or an inanimate object. So you would keep your word, not show it to anyone, and then the game carries on until everyone has at least one piece of paper. Obviously there's sweets in the middle, and then when we finish that we sit down, and everyone gets another blank paper plate. On the back of this plate there's an action word, so for example reading the favourite book or going to the cinema, and you would read out the word on your piece of paper, for example dog, and then if it says reading a book on the plate, then you would paint a dog reading a book. It's quite simple, and obviously we can't predict when the combinations will be, so that's quite an interesting one as well. And with this one you tend to get a little bit longer to paint, so these are usually the paintings that come out best. The other game we can do, if there's enough time, is Pictionary. It's very simple. It's just like Pictionary, except you paint the answers instead of drawing them, and that gets very competitive. It's quite good for the teams bonding with each other in that way, and that's always a lot of fun, can usually be a good one to finish on. I'm looking at designing some more games in the future, and also very happy to take suggestions on this. So if you have any ideas, even if you're not quite sure how it would work, if there's a favourite party game that you really enjoy, I'm happy to hear all the ideas. And I think there's quite a lot of room as well to make these games suited to quite a wide variety of themes. So I've done it at Halloween, I've done it in the summer, I've done it for Christmas, I've done it for a bridesmaid weekend get together, and that's always good because it makes it a bit more meaningful, it makes it a bit more special to the group. Based on these statistics from the Campaign to End Loneliness, I think the biggest group of people who would benefit from these workshops are actually groups of employees, as a social or a team building activity, whether that's during office hours or after work. I'm keen to get ideas from them for a theme. If there's anything in particular that they would like to celebrate within the workplace, whether it be Earth Day, diversity, or any other kind of special event. If you would be interested in that, let me know how big the group is and what you would be looking for in terms of like daytime or evening, whether there are any particular themes, how long you would like it to be, any questions that you have. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Have a nice rest of your day.